What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another live fantasy football mock draft where you're back on FantasyPros with a 10-team PPR mock where we will be selecting from the 6th overall position. Roster-wise, nothing too crazy. 1 quarterback, 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then 5 bench spots. So pretty standard. And that's pretty much all you need to know. We can get right into it. And while we wait for our pick, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, and let us hear it in the comment section. Do you agree, disagree with these picks, along with any other questions you guys might have? We will do our best to answer them all. And lastly, check us out online at alldaypigskin.com. And while you're there, get yourself a copy of the 2021 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide. Everything you could want at a great value. Details in the description. But with that being said, let's get into this draft. It's our turn to make a selection. The first 5 picks are already in the book. Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones with the 4th overall pick. I did not see that one coming. Usually he's, between, I'd say, the 6th and the 10th pick overall, even though he's probably rising up some draft boards. However, still probably not a top 4 pick in my opinion, more so towards the end/middle of the first round. And then Devontae Adams with the 5th pick overall. So that leaves us in a pretty good spot here to potentially get a very, very good running back. Now, the guys that I'm looking at, Derrick Henry, Ezekiel Elliott, Austin Eckler, pretty much the way that you see them, those are the names that I'm considering. Derrick Henry, obviously the much more standard suited running back. Ezekiel Elliott, a lot more balanced in my opinion, not as quite of a high rushing ceiling, but definitely a much better pass catcher. And then Austin Eckler kind of on the other side of the spectrum, even though I do really like his upside as the primary running back for the Chargers this season. So with that in mind, considering this is PPR, I'm between Ezekiel Elliott and Austin Eckler. Part of me wants to go with Zeke here and then see if Austin Eckler falls to me. Obviously, again, you guys know how I feel about Austin Eckler. So this will more so be kind of a gamble, I guess, to see if Eckler falls to us. If that happens, I would love it. Instead here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Ezekiel Elliott. I have him ranked higher than Derrick Henry. And then hope, even though it's probably a very low probability, that Austin Eckler falls to the 2nd round. And if he doesn't, it's okay. Again, we'll be able to rebound because I'm sure there will be some other very great picks. But there we go with Ezekiel Elliott. And actually, Austin Eckler only goes, 2 picks later. So, well, that did not work out in our favor, but it's all right because, again, let's quickly look at the draft board. We've got a lot of good options. You're going to have a lot of good options in these 10-team leagues. They're going to be deeper, a much better player pool in the early rounds because, again, the 10-team size, all these teams are going to be, relatively top heavy and they're going to have good depth, et cetera, et cetera. So, here just continue to go best player available. But in the first round after our Zeke selection, you see Derrick Henry, you see Austin Eckler. So nothing too crazy there. Then Saquon Barkley at the 109. I'd say this is kind of typical now. Just people don't want to take the risk in the early rounds with Saquon Barkley. And I kind of spoke to that. I said, look, if you guys want to play it safe, then probably look elsewhere for Barkley. And then instead get him in the 2nd round, or if you take Barkley in the 1st round, you better get a very, very safe running back in the 2nd. So that's my philosophy on that. Tyreek Hill with the last pick in the 1st, then DeAndre Hopkins, then Najee Harris, Stephon Diggs, and Antonio Gibson. So I'm not upset with the way this thing is going at all right now. Very tempted to take Calvin Ridley, but I'm actually going to go with Jonathan Taylor here. Very happy he falls to me here at this point in the 2nd round, especially with the way things are trending in terms of health, optimistically for Wentz and for Quentin Nelson in Indianapolis. So welcome to the team, Jonathan Taylor. Already Ezekiel Elliott and Taylor. I feel very, very good about that combination. But let's quickly look at, again, what's happened since that selection here, because afterwards, you see Calvin Ridley, a run on wide receivers, actually. Ridley, Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, and then Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen going ahead of an A.J. Brown. That's interesting. I don't necessarily disagree with it, especially in full-point PPR scoring. Then you see DeAndre Swift with the final pick in the 2nd round. as much as I really like DeAndre Swift, all these issues in Detroit right now, specifically with his groin injury, specifically with the coaches, again, continuing to say hot hand approach, Jamal Williams, they have me kind of fading DeAndre Swift, and I hate to do it, but, in standard formats, I'd almost say forget about it. Definitely PPR, he does have the upside, but Jamal Williams can do everything DeAndre Swift can as well, and he seems to be healthier right now, so I'm just a little bit nervous there. Travis Kelce falling to the start of the third round is an absolute steal there. Then you see Darren Waller immediately afterwards, followed by A.J. Brown, Nick Chubb, and Patrick Mahomes. So Nick Chubb falls to the third round in full point PPR scoring. I probably would have taken Nick Chubb ahead of DeAndre Swift, ahead of Najee Harris probably as well, and potentially even, ahead of Saquon Barkley because of the risk there. Because, as lacking as Chubb is in the pass catching department, he is, relatively speaking, one of the safest running backs. He gets a ton of volume on a run first offense with a great offensive line. So can't really hate Nick Chubb, even though he does fall a little bit in PPR scoring. But it's our turn to make a selection here. And we've got a lot of good options, but, let's quickly look at wide receiver. Allen Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, McLaurin is somebody that's kind of tempting. Let's look at, again, running back. You see Joe Mixon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire still available, and Chris Carson. Joe Mixon, again, I think is probably in the risky category. So I'd rather have a Edwards-Helaire. I think he's a little bit safer. And you've got, obviously, your quarterbacks. But here, we might be going running back heavy in the first 3 rounds, but I think it's absolutely warranted. Clyde Edwards-Helaire does have that upside as a pass catcher as well, so I've got no problem taking him here in the 3rd round as our flex player, and then seeing how this thing pans out afterwards, and, seeing what wide receiver options we have to work with. So after we went Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Joe Mixon goes off the board, then Allen Robinson, George Kittle, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Carson. So really nice value on CeeDee Lamb and Chris Carson here at the end of the 3rd and beginning of the 4th, respectively. Then you see Julio, Terry McLaurin, good value on Terry, followed by Kyle Pitts. Way too early for Kyle Pitts, in my opinion. Again, I'm looking at TJ Hawkinson potentially in the 5th round if he falls to me. Right now, though, I need a wide receiver, and I kind of want to see what we're working with here. So wide receiver-wise, I'm looking at Robert Woods, Amari Cooper, and Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson as well. So what I'm hoping happens at this point in time, I'm hoping that either Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods falls to us. So I'm going to go with the logic, if I get one of those Rams wide receivers in the next round, I'd be very happy. So here I'm going to go with Amari Cooper first, because if somehow I get a chance to get Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, I think that's definitely too much overkill for the LA Rams wide receivers. So I'm just going to go with Amari Cooper here. I think that he's still going to have a big role in this offense, even if a lot of people are obviously saying that CeeDee Lamb, it's going to be his offense, which I don't necessarily disagree with. But Amari Cooper is, he's not done. So let's not pretend that that's the case. I'm going to go with Amari Cooper here, like I said. Now the question is, what other wide receivers will be available? There goes Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, so that's a little bit of a bummer. But let's show you the draft board so that you can see where they went as well. After we went Cooper, you see ETN. Forget about ETN. You should not be drafting ETN this early. No chance in hell should you draft ETN before David Montgomery. Are you freaking kidding me? That's insane. Afterwards, Robert Woods, Montgomery, DJ Moore, Kyler Murray. Second quarterback off the board is Kyler Murray. Then you see Cooper Kupp, Godwin, Deontay Johnson, somebody that I really liked, J.K. Dobbins, and now T. Higgins. Here, I mentioned it before, I really like T.J. Hawkinson, but I think right now there's a clear-cut wide receiver that I want on my team. That is Tyler Lockett. I love his upside, and I'm going to go in that direction. And then, I doubt we're going to be able to get T.J. Hawkinson, but it is what it is. I want to get Tyler Lockett right now here at this value. I'm looking at the other wide receivers that we could go with. Maybe Adam Thielen falls to us. Jamar Chase potentially, but it's really close. It's almost a coin flip type of situation between Lockett and Hawkinson. I do think there's a chance that Mark Andrews falls to us. So let's see if we can go with that approach. Get Tyler Lockett here, and then maybe consider Mark Andrews afterwards. So we might get lucky, I'm not sure, but it'll be again, a pretty close situation. TJ Hawkinson does go off the draft board, unfortunately. So let's quickly see exactly where that happened. Because we took Tyler Lockett with the 6th pick in the 5th round. Then you see Mike Evans, Miles Sanders, Josh Allen, Josh Jacobs to end the 5th round. Then TJ Hawkinson with the 1st pick in the 6th. So good value there. I like it. Adam Thielen, Lamar Jackson, and Brendan Ayuk. So the top quarterbacks are all off the board. Mahomes, Murray, Allen, and Lamar Jackson. I definitely would have considered Lamar here with this pick in the 6th round. But I like the way this is working out for us. Our first 3 picks. Show me a team that has a better trio of running backs. Zeke, Jonathan Taylor, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The only team that can kind of contend with that is that of Derrick Henry, Antonio Gibson, and Joe Mixon. But I think I've got the safer guys, the more well-rounded players. So I like the situation there. And then I like how we rebounded with our wide receivers in Cooper and Lockett. So here, let's see what we've got to work with at the really any position in terms of potential bench pieces, potential tight ends. So I really like Darrell Henderson at his current value. I also do like Mark Andrews potentially. I think right now what you should do is just go the value pick. Running back is the most important position. Darrell Henderson is still available. I don't think that should be the case here. I realize it's a 10-team league, but look, it's the 6th round in a 10-team league. Darrell Henderson, seemingly nobody's going to, challenge him. So I'm going Darrell Henderson here. I'm certain Mark Andrews won't make it back to us. But, I think the value we get at that running back is going to be very, very important. So I'm very happy with Darrell Henderson at that point in time. Potentially trade bait, potential depth, et cetera, et cetera. Can't go wrong with it, really. But looking at these other picks after Darrell Henderson, you see Mike Davis, Mark Andrews, Logan Thomas. So, like I said, Mark Andrews is off the board. Then you see Myles Gaskin, Juju Smith, Kenny Galladay, running 2 quarterbacks with Dak and Russell Wilson. Then DJ Shark and Jerry Jeudy. I'm not sure how he's available, but I am going Jamar Chase here. No questions about it. I'm going to continue just go best player overall. And then we're going to fill in the tight end, I should say, and quarterback positions later on in this draft. That's the way it kind of worked out. I think we've done a good job of really getting best player overall at every single pick and also just addressing the most important positions while getting depth at those positions as well. So again, let's show you what happened here in the 7th and 8th rounds respectively. After we went Jamar Chase, you see Justin Herbert, Courtland Sutton, Robbie Anderson, Kareem Hunt, then Aaron Rodgers, Javonte Williams, Chase Claypool, and Devonta Smith. So, makes sense. Right now, I'm looking at Antonio Brown, a guy that I love at this point in time. Running backs, nobody that I love, and we've got so much depth there that I don't necessarily need to go that direction. Dallas Goedert is somebody that I'm looking at. I think I can get him in the next round. Probably I can get him in the next round. Let's quickly look at who has gotten a tight end already here. And all but one person that's picking before me and after me is set at tight end. So I think we're pretty safe in terms of being able to get Goddard. Because he is that second-ranked tight end in terms of who is left available. So here, I'm just going to go with Antonio Brown. I love the upside. Welcome to the team, Antonio Brown at wide receiver. So now let's see if Dallas Goedert makes it to us. And it looks like he will, which I am very, very excited about. So he will pretty quickly be our selection here. But again, showing you the draft board, what has taken place after we went AB. You see Brendan Cooks, Deebo Samuel, then a run on running backs. Edmonds, James Robinson, Raheem Mostert, Will Fuller sandwiched in there, but then Michael Carter, Damian Harris, Ronald Jones, Noah Fant. Very, very good value on Harris and Ronald Jones, in my opinion. So now, again, I alluded to it. I am going to go with Dallas Goedert here. I think he's the best available tight end. I think he's going to be the most involved out of all these guys. Again, I don't think he's in the tier 2 category, which probably is really TJ Hawkinson, Mark Andrews, and Kyle Pitts. But he's in the next tier, and you could argue he is the best option at that next tier. So, it could be worse at tight end, is what I'm getting at. After Goddard, you see Odell, Higbee, Jalen Waddle, Melvin Gordon. Great value on Gordon, James Conner, Sermon, David Johnson, and then A.J. Dillon. So I like those selections. Nothing wrong with that. Right now, we could potentially go we could potentially go quarterback, but I will say Tony Pollard as a handcuff to Ezekiel Elliott is very, very important. I think Tony Pollard is the single best handcuff in fantasy football just because he is a proven commodity. Everybody already kind of has a quarterback, so I'm not sweating that. I can kind of wait on it. Michael Thomas, he's tempting at this point in time, but nobody knows when in the hell, Michael Thomas is going to return, if he's going to be playing for the New Orleans Saints. So I'm just going to go Tony Pollard, a little bit of a reach at this point in time, but I want to make sure I get my top tier handcuff here and Tony Pollard. Let's go that direction. So we get him here, easy peasy. And we've still got options at quarterback as well, because after that selection, you see, let's quickly look at it. Matthew Stafford was the next quarterback to go. Kenyon Drake, Hines, Jamal Williams, Phillip Lindsay. I was considering Jamal Williams as even a bigger depth piece later on, but he goes. Tyler Boyd, Darnell Mooney, Fournette, and Tariq Cohen are the next picks. So here we can finally go get our quarterback. And the guy that I am looking at, probably either Joe Burrow, Ryan Tannehill is tempting, kind of just that safe quarterback option. Jalen Hurts with the rushing upside. I'll probably go Hurts here. Let's get a little bit crazy. Let's go with that rushing upside, and you get the Hurts and Dallas Goedert stack. So we'll see if that pays off. I'm getting Jalen Hurts here. And then afterwards, we're going to get our final pick and wrap this thing up. Michael Thomas just got selected in the 12th round. He would have been a good pick there, kind of just a, extra pick that whenever he does come back, he's got some nice upside, but wasn't meant to be. That's all right. Again, quickly showing you guys the draft board here. What happened after our Jalen Hurts selection: Latavius Murray, Singletary, McKissick, Mike Williams, Brady, Corey Davis, James White, Michael Thomas. Here, honestly, our best bet might be to go with a safer quarterback option, since Jalen Hurts is far from, a safe play. So safer options, either Ryan Tannehill or Joe Burrow. Since Joe Burrow is coming off that injury, I'll just go with Ryan Tannehill here, get our backup quarterback, and we're in a good spot. And I think we did all right in terms of a grade. Yeah, we get an 85 out of 100. We get a B. So I think that's a pretty good spot, but let's show you our roster here one final time. You can see it: Jalen Hurts, Zeke, Jonathan Taylor, Clyde Edwards-Helaire as our starting running backs. Then Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett as our starting wide receivers. Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Again, tight end could be better. We went high upside for quarterback, but we did get Ryan Tannehill to back it up. I love Darrell Henderson as a backup running back on our bench, our 4th overall running back, Jamar Chase and Antonio Brown. And then we even went another extra step, getting Tony Pollard as a handcuff. I think this is probably the best mock draft I've done so far in terms of running back depth and talent. So I love that. Got a lot of potential trade options here at that position. Wide receiver, we got Amari, we've got Tyler Lockett, Jamar Chase, and Antonio Brown, so I feel good about that as well. Again, really the only position that maybe sticks out is tight end and quarterback, but we got Tannehill, so I really like this team. I think 85 is probably the floor in terms of 85 out of 100, a B grade. I'd probably go as high as a B+, but hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments section, along with, again, with any questions you guys might have. And if you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, and check us out on alldaypigskin.com. And while you're there, again, a quick reminder, get yourself a copy of the 2021 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide. Everything you could want at a great value. Details in the description. But with that being said, we'll see you guys in future videos.